Jahkeem Stewart, Josh, 5-star defensive lineman, announced his reclassification today from 2026 to 2025, a long time coming, has set 4 official visits. His first one's going to be to Oregon next weekend to see 2 of his top 4 schools, Oregon and Ohio State. The Buckeyes are going to get 2 chances to impress as he visits Ohio State for the Michigan game. He loves getting on campus around Larry Johnson and that coaching staff, loves the way they develop high-profile defensive linemen in the past, and loves the way that they've recruited, thinks it's a championship program for years to come. But they got their hands full. LSU getting a visit for the Alabama game, and then USC getting a visit for the Nebraska game. There's been times where USC has looked like they've had the momentum, and there's always a ton of confidence around LSU that they'll ultimately close the prize in-state recruit.
Yeah. So we're talking about Jahkeem Stewart. Really interesting story here. He reclassifies from 26 to the 2025 class. Jahkeem Stewart in the 2026 class was the number 1 prospect overall. He was the number 1 defensive lineman in America, and he's from the state of Louisiana. That much we knew. We weren't sure. There was rumors even back to the spring that Jahkeem Stewart was going to reclassify. We talked about it all summer. It didn't happen. We got into the fall, and we start to hear those rumors intensify, and today he does it. So now I said what he was for the 26 class. Let's talk about what he is for the 2025 class. He is the number 14 ranked player overall, the number 3 defensive lineman in America in the 2025 class. So with that being said, you broke some big news on where he's going to take official visits. But looking at his recruiting prediction machine, we got LSU trending at about 91% right now. That's what it was, at least heading into this game. Is LSU going to be the team to beat over the next 2.5 months?
I think most people feel that way, that Jahkeem Stewart, that LSU will be tough to beat. But when you talk to his camp, you talk to him, you get the sense that USC has led at times and Ohio State has led at times as well. And so LSU, they're going to have their hands full with the Trojans and the Buckeyes, and then the Ducks. You never sleep on Oregon when it's closing time. He's taking his official visit to Oregon next weekend. That's going to be his first official visit of the process. He has called Dan Lanning a defensive mastermind. Then he is going to go to LSU for the LSU-Alabama game. That will be his second LSU game of the fall after taking one in last month. He's really connected with defensive line coach Bo Davis. Frank Wilson's been leading the charge on his recruitment. His ties in state are second to none. He loves the advice he gets from Frank Wilson outside of football. He says he's not opposed to going to a school out of state, but obviously he knows a lot of people in that LSU locker room. He's been to campers numerous times. He's camped. He feels very comfortable at LSU. But he's going to go from LSU. I believe his next visit will be USC for the Nebraska game. Coach Eric Henderson, USC's defensive line coach, who coached Aaron Donald, among others, in the NFL, won a Super Bowl. He's from New Orleans. He's part of this USC staff that is turning things around defensively, turning a culture around. And Lincoln Riley told Jahkeem Stewart well before the season that he was going to get the defense right, that he was going to get the right coaches into that program to get them rolling on the defensive side of the ball. He has told Jahkeem Stewart no lies. He was blown away by USC's season opening performance victory over LSU. I think that was a needle mover in his recruitment. He's been to the Trojans campus numerous times, knows that coaching staff well. Coach Henne, I'm not sure there's a coach doing a better job recruiting him right now. Some would say Frank Wilson, but he is really connected with Coach Henne, who would be his position coach if he picked USC. So he likes what they're doing in their trajectory. And then Ohio State gets the last official visit for the Michigan game. He's been there a couple times. It always blows him away. Coach Larry Johnson, Coach Alan Clark. He called Larry Johnson the best defensive line coach in college football history. Again, he loves the way they're recruiting across the board, thinks it's a championship caliber program for years to come. He is going to sign early during the December 4th early signing period, Josh, and he's going to enroll early. So it's going to go fast now with him announcing his reclassification.
Great intel there, Steve. That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you what you thought his timetable was, because if it is the early signing day, we're talking 11, 12 weeks away. I mean, 11 or 12 weekends away from him making his decision, which isn't a lot of time to take visits. You said you broke some big news today with his official visit schedule, but Steve, just wondering, is there any other team? Because everybody needs an elite defensive lineman, and a 5-star just hit the market for the 2025 class. Do you see any other team getting in this recruitment, or is it pretty sealed off right now to the programs you mentioned?
Well, you never know if a Miami or a Texas can sneak back in there. Those were two programs that have been prominent at times for Jahkeem Stewart, but it's been clear for a while this is his top 4.